YouTube, a place where anyone can become a star posting almost anything. But this level of accessibility has the chance of allowing something sinister to slip through the cracks. In this video, we'll be discussing 3 YouTubers who became killers, each one more bizarre than the last. Starting off with Randy Stair, a young boy from Pennsylvania who dreamt of being a YouTube star. He had several channels, but the most prominent was Pioneers Productions, where he would post sketch comedy videos, vlogs, and let's plays. He graduated high school in 2011 and went to Luzerne County Community College for 3 years. Growing up, Randy loved Nickelodeon and his favorite show was Danny Phantom. He'd spend hours drawing their character designs in a notebook. He did feel extreme shyness up into adulthood and found it very hard to socialize, but there was nothing deeply concerning about his personality. His life was seemingly on a good track. He had a steady job at Weis Market's grocery store and was majoring in mass communications in college. However, Randy had a particularly rough year in 2013, causing his mental health to decline drastically. First, his brother's friend died in a car accident, followed by his own friend dying in one. Both of them were under the age of 21, and this made Randy obsess about early deaths. Following this, his great-grandfather died, and Randy was involved in a car crash of his own. Then his brother also got in a car crash, forcing Randy, his brother, and his mom to share a car. To top it all off, he had also lost an important hard drive. The pileup of these events had caused Randy to slip off to the wrong path. He became obsessed with the character Ember McLean from Danny Phantom, and even started a new YouTube channel called Ember's Ghost Squad. Randy taught himself to animate and produced a spin-off series to Danny Phantom about Ember. Randy didn't care about much else other than this series. He often focused on death and the afterlife, with these topics also being prevalent in his videos. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life after education, and there was a lot of pressure on him to do well from his parents. Eventually, Randy gave in to despair and decided he was going to kill himself within the next few years. In the meantime, he focused even more on his online presence and neglected his real life. He became more and more obsessed with Ember McLean, and even thought the Ghost Squad characters from his series were real. He also started struggling with gender dysphoria and believed he was meant to be a female. He created a character in his series named Andrew Blaze, a female representation of himself. He had also become fascinated with the Columbine High School shooting, similar to the other 2 YouTube killers in this video. He even recreated the natural selection shirt that Eric Harris wore. He'd begun creating a plan to end his life. He documented his process of this plan, eventually uploading hundreds of videos about it. He spent several months creating a conglomeration of his life's details. He even filmed himself practicing with his shotguns and detailing his sinister plans. He recorded a video where he flipped a coin to decide his fate. If it were heads, he would take his life in his bedroom. Tails, and he would kill himself and others at the supermarket. The coin landed tails, then heads, then tails, then heads, and finally, tails. He believed it was fate and decided he was going to go through with it. It's interesting to note that throughout all these videos, he's very well-spoken, calm, and self-aware. It's not exactly what you'd expect from someone with these thoughts.
I know the surrealness of all this is probably creeping in right now with you thinking, I'm watching him right now, and he's dead, you know? Today's April 4th, 2017, and I have just over 5 months to live.
Randy had accepted his fate and spoke about everything very matter-of-factly. But before he could go through with his plan, he had to post one final EGS video. The episode was titled The Westboro High Massacre, though the video was never properly finished because the voice actors involved refused to participate. The video ended up being posted but was almost immediately removed from YouTube, and on June 7th, 2017, Randy went to work at 11 p.m. He uploaded links to Twitter detailing the crime he was about to commit, as well as an archive of his suicide tapes. He blocked off exit doors and went back to his car where he grabbed 2 Mossberg 500 shotguns. And at 1 a.m., he went back inside and shot employees Victoria Brong, Brian Hayes, and Terry Lee Sterling. He spared co-worker Kristen Newell, who ran to the employees' room and called the police before escaping out the front entrance. Finally, Randy shot himself, claiming 4 victims in total. When police arrived at the scene, they confirmed 59 shots were fired. An autopsy of his body revealed that he had 3 times the recommended dosage of Benadryl in his system, perhaps hinting as to why he randomly chose to spare Christian, even though his goal was to kill as many as he could. Randy is one of the more recent YouTube killers, but it's time we see how this all began. Moving on to the first ever documented YouTube killer, Pekka Eric-Auvinen. Born June 4th, 1989, in Helsinki, Finland, Pekka became the victim of bullying at a young age. During high school, he struggled with mental health issues and began taking an SSRI to cope with it. It helped at first, but due to his infrequent usage of the medicine, it became less effective over time. As Pekka grew up, he developed very strong political opinions and did not keep them to himself. He supported neo-Nazism and Adolf Hitler. He even went as far as threatening other students that they would die in a white revolution, though he had his sights set on an even larger audience to which he could spread his ideas. This led to the creation of a YouTube channel named Natural Selector 89 on March 15, 2007. If you know anything about the infamous Columbine massacre, you may know that one of the shooters, Eric Harris, wore a shirt with the text Natural Selection on it. Pekka, who admired the Columbine shooters, gained the inspiration for his channel's name from this massacre. He uploaded videos covering various topics such as politics, religion, and history. He'd also sometimes upload gaming videos and music that he had produced. He made videos in support of the Columbine massacre, the Tokyo sarin subway attack, and serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Kaczynski. He was making no effort to hide his opinions and intentions. This led to other YouTubers finding out about his channel and voicing their concerns. Specifically, the channel Amazing Atheist made a video warning the public of Natural Selector's channel, as well as others. He promoted taking caution of people who show warning signs of committing shootings. However, no serious precautions were set in place, though his channel was suddenly deleted. But this did not deter Pekka from creating a new one, called Sturmgeist89. This channel showcased the escalating and erratic behavior of Pekka. He posted videos showing off guns and shooting fruit in a forest. On the morning of November 7th, 2007, he didn't show up to school. Instead, he was home browsing the internet. He posted his final video that day at 9:33 a.m., titled Jokela High School Massacre, 11/7/2007. The video shows a photo of his school and fades to several red filtered images of himself pointing a gun at the camera. Not only did he post that video, but he also uploaded 21 media files to the internet. One of these files was titled Natural Selector's Manifesto, where he justified the crime he was about to commit as natural selection. 2 hours later, at 11:37 a.m., Pekka entered Jokela High School and shot 17-year-old Sameli Nurmi. He then went into the bathroom while students found Sameli's body. They mistook his injuries for a bump on the head and called the Emergency Response Center. Pekka then left the bathroom and shot 3 more students. Then he killed the school nurse as she tried to escape. He continued his massacre when the headmaster announced on the PA system that all students should stay in their classrooms. This angered Pekka, prompting him to fire 53 bullets into the air and yelling out, "I'll kill all of you." He tried to light one of the school's walls on fire using flammable liquid, but failed to do so. Frustrated, he left the school, where he found his final victim, 61-year-old headmistress Helena Kolmi. She tried to convince him to stop, but instead, he shot her 7 times. He then made his way back into the school and managed to enter a classroom. He tried to rally the students to join him in his revolution, but they refused. He shot a TV set and window and left without killing anyone else. By this point, armed police had gathered around the building. Pekka and the police exchanged fire, and he came to the realization that it was over. He went back into the school, entered a bathroom, and shot himself. He died hours later at a local hospital. In total, the massacre had sustained 9 deaths, including Pekka himself. At the time, this was the deadliest school shooting in Finnish history. His parents were shocked by his actions and claimed they had no idea he even owned a gun. Those who warned the public of his behavior, particularly Amazing Atheist, were frustrated that the event hadn't been prevented, despite warning signs. Pekka had solidified himself as the first YouTube killer, but perhaps an even more bizarre story lies in Jared Lee Loughner. Jared was a kind and caring boy, until he underwent a personality change at the age of 18, and this did not go unnoticed by friends, family, and coworkers. He was even fired from his Quiznos job due to the sudden personality change. Now out of work, Jared began volunteering at a local animal shelter, but not even this would last long. He was asked not to come back after repeatedly walking dogs in unsafe locations after being told not to. The drastic personality change which was now taking control of his life was likely caused by his high school girlfriend breaking up with him. To cope, he began abusing alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, mushrooms, LSD, and salvia. This continued for 2 years, but he finally quit abusing drugs in 2008. Jared still lived with his parents at this time, and his concerning behavior had not gotten any better. His parents were greatly worried about him, prompting them to disable his car at night so that he could not leave the house, as well as confiscating his shotgun. Around this time, Jared created a YouTube channel called Class It Up 10. He posted bizarre ramblings on YouTube consisting of simple videos with a black background and white text, often talking about strange government conspiracies. He also posted a video of him roaming around the campus of Pima Community College, rambling to himself and bothering random people. His ramblings still consisted of government conspiracies, and he relentlessly slandered the school, saying it was the biggest scam in America and that it would make him homeless. Clearly, Jared's mind was not rooted in reality. He frequently had interactions with the police at this community college due to classroom and library disruptions. Teachers were so afraid of his wild behavior that they reported him to the administration several times. One class disruption in particular happened when a young woman described her abortion, at which point he mocked and laughed at her. He said something about strapping a bomb to the fetus and making a baby bomb out of it. Eventually, he was suspended and decided not to return to the school after his suspension. In his newfound free time, Jared's conspiracy theories ramped up. He had theories about 9/11, the New World Order, and believed in the 2012 apocalypse. He had a strong dislike for government and religion. Specifically, he had a hatred for politician Gabby Giffords. He attended one of her events in which she did not answer his question to his liking. He kept a box with a thank you letter from the event, as well as an envelope scribbled with phrases such as, "Die bitch," and "Assassination plans have been made." On November 30th, 2010, Jared bought a 9mm Glock pistol, and on January 8th, 2011, he made his final post to the internet on MySpace, which consisted of more incoherent ramblings. At 7:28 a.m., he went to Walmart to buy ammunition. Soon after, he took a taxi to a Safeway supermarket where Gabby Giffords was holding a constituents meeting. At 10:10 a.m., Jared's massacre began. He shot at Giffords from close range, hitting her and other bystanders. He killed 6 people, including a 9-year-old girl. 13 others were injured from his gunfire. He had shot Giffords in the head and believed she died, but she managed to survive. Bystanders stopped him and he was arrested by the police. Following his arrest, Jared was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. He deeply believed that he had succeeded in killing Giffords, and when told otherwise, he would get angry. He was forcibly treated with antipsychotics so that he was not a danger to himself and others, as well as allowing him to be fit to stand trial. On August 7th, 2012, he pleaded guilty to 19 counts and was spared the death sentence. Months later, on November 8th, he was sentenced to 7 life terms plus 140 years in prison without the possibility of parole. He is now serving his life sentence at Federal Medical Center, Rochester, Minnesota, a prison which specializes in inmates with health issues. And this was how 3 YouTubers turned into infamous killers.